I am going to fly the drone over now. I'm going to just take off.
No, you're not.
Absolutely.
You're not allowed. There's overhead lines, power lines. It's against the law. You do that, we'll phone the police and you'll be arrested.
Oh, don't phone police. Come on, that'd be silly, wouldn't it? I will be quick, I promise. I'll fly over, and you'll just see it go across a few times, and I won't be long, yeah? See my drone license?
Yeah.
You don't need to...
Flying it over our facility, I need to see your license.
You don't need to see my license. Why would you need to see my license?
Property, and we've got intellectual property on that facility.
I'm about to take it over now.
You're not taking it over.
I'm definitely...
Phone the police.
Don't phone police. Come on, that's silly, isn't it? Just for a bit of drone footage.
Yeah.
Come on, don't be silly. Come on. Got two of them now.
Stop filming as well.
But, come on, don't be like that. Come on.
You've been asked politely 3 times.
You at 999 in that, are you? Oh, are you kidding? Ring 101, that'll take ages or 101, won't it? But sorry, I'm going to take it off soon, but don't...
Dialing 999 for non-emergencies ties up officers and can cost lives. When security staff call the police over harmless filming, it shows they don't grasp the rules. Instead of defusing things calmly, they push for uniform backup, hoping the badge will settle their complaint. This points to a bigger issue. Call handlers need solid training in public photography laws, so officers aren't sent on phantom calls. Far too often, businesses waste police time over completely legal activities just because they find them inconvenient. In the video, the responding officer ends up making a spectacle of himself, revealing a stunning lack of knowledge about filming rights. That moment alone makes it clear why better guidance and smarter decisions are urgently needed.
Do you want to tell me then what you've been doing?
I'm not going to tell you anything that I don't need to tell you.
Right, okay.
You've just come here and just accosted me for nothing.
Right.
We've got guys out there shouting through, he needs to delete that footage.
Yes.
I need to delete my footage.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
There are basically 3 rules with filming. Very similar to the use of CCTV. Yeah?
Here we go, come on. Come on, cops explain.
If you're filming yourself, you can do what you like.
Ooh, yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, you're filming me, you can do what you like, I don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
More than welcome to. Okay?
Yeah.
If you're filming a private space, so if you are filming, well, initially if you're filming a public space, you can do, but you need to be willing to show that footage to whoever asks. You also need to comply with the Data Protection Act, which means that you need to be willing to delete that footage should they ask you to.
Imagine being told you have to hand over your footage and delete it under the Data Protection Act. It sounds official, but it's simply not true. The 2018 law governs how businesses and public bodies handle personal data, not private individuals filming for their own use. If you're shooting video in a public place, you don't have to show it to anyone or erase it on demand. No statute forces you to hand over recordings just because they were made in public.
Yes?
No, yeah, you've got that all wrong, honestly.
No, I haven't.
Of course you have.
No, I haven't, because it's
it was covered by data protection, right? Can I just explain that? I'll tell you that. I'll let you on.
Yeah.
I'll let you know then. Yeah.
Go on then.
Data protection only applies to businesses. It doesn't apply to individuals. There you go. Look, that's your first mistake. Yeah.
It does apply to individuals. And if you're saying it only applies to business, that's a business, and they've asked you to delete it.
No, I'm not a business so I don't have to delete it.
Right, you do.
You're talking rubbish on camera.
Ask you to.
You're talking rubbish on
because
camera.
Because otherwise, no, I'm not talking rubbish, because otherwise, what you're doing is surveillance. Have you got a ripper? Have you applied for a ripper? Do you know what a ripper is?
A what, sorry?
A ripper.
What's a ripper?
A ripper? No. A ripper is the paperwork to allow you to do surveillance, which is what you're doing with that.
Many people believe the Investigatory Powers Act 2000, commonly known as RIPA, applies to any filming in public. In truth, RIPA only governs covert surveillance carried out by law enforcement, intelligence services, and local authorities. It's the legal framework for authorizing undercover operations, intercepting communications, and monitoring suspects during criminal probes. A private citizen recording on their phone for personal use, journalism, or a YouTube video isn't covered by RIPA. There's no requirement for individuals to seek approval before filming in public spaces. If there were, every tourist or vlogger with a camera would be breaking the law. Ironically, the officer in the video cites this statute as a scare tactic, using rules that simply don't apply to ordinary citizens.
I'm not doing surveillance, that's silly.
are doing surveillance.
I'm doing aerial photography.
Yeah, which is surveillance. Form of surveillance.
Can you identify yourself, please? Because
Yep,
you just
I'm
walked
Charlie
up to me.
Oscar 82. I'm
And yourself, lady.
The Oscar 961.
Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Okay. So what you are doing is surveillance. You've just said you're taking photographs. Yeah?
I haven't said that. I've not
Surveillance.
confirmed anything.
Right, that's a form of surveillance. You're telling me that you're filming, that you've filmed over there. That is a company. They've asked you to delete the footage of what you're filming there, of what you filmed there.
I won't be
Are
deleting.
you refusing to do so?
Well, obviously, there's
Why?
nobody. I'll tell you what. I'll let you know
Right.
then. I'll let you know the law, that, yeah.
Right.
Only a court can make me delete that footage.
Right.
Yeah.
In the UK, you're under no obligation to delete footage just because someone asks. The only way recordings can be lawfully wiped is through a court order or a search warrant. Police officers can't insist you erase your video unless they formally seize it as part of a criminal investigation under PACE 1984. And even then, they must have reasonable grounds to suspect an offense. Any attempt to force you to delete recordings outside those strict channels could amount to unlawful interference with evidence or an abuse of police powers.
Right.
There you go. So you can't delete it. You can't ask me to.
Right.
Well, you can ask me to, but I don't have
There
to.
is a government ombudsman that deals with footage like that.
Lovely.
Okay?
Yeah.
They can take you to court, certainly,
God. Yeah.
and they will prosecute you, and they will fine you. And it is hundreds of thousands of pounds. Because it's the same rules and regulations that we use for surveillance.
All I would say is, good luck trying to get £100,000 out of me. I literally haven't got
If you don't pay that,
£100,000.
then it's potentially a prison sentence, then, isn't it?
Ooh, prison. God, I don't want to get in prison.
Think there's an ombudsman waiting to prosecute you for filming in public? That's pure fiction. In the UK, only the Information Commissioner's Office enforces data protection, and its rules cover businesses handling personal data, not private citizens capturing everyday scenes. RIPA, the Investigatory Powers Act, governs undercover surveillance by police and intelligence agencies, not open-air filming on your phone. You don't need official permission to record in a public place, nor can an officer legally force you to delete your footage without a court order. Any talk of huge fines for simply filming on the street is nothing more than a scare tactic. This officer either hasn't read the law or is deliberately misusing his authority.
Well, I'm asking you nicely, will you delete the footage that you filmed over there?
You can ask, can't you?
I can ask. Will now.
I've not confirmed or denied whether I'm going to delete the
Will you
footage.
delete the footage? Please.
What would you do if I don't delete the footage? I'm going back over in a minute. The drone's going back up in a minute.
Okay, well, potentially we can get officers here to arrest you and take you away.
Arrest me for what? What? Listen,
Right,
what
for
law?
breach of data protection.
That's not. You're under arrest for breach of data protection.
Right.
Yeah. You don't have to say anything when questioned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Under arrest for data protection. Oh my God.
Let's set the record straight. Data protection rules cover companies handling personal information, not private individuals filming in public. You can't be arrested for lawfully recording a scene out on the street. If a business mishandles personal data, it faces fines or regulatory action, never criminal charges. Notice how the officer admits he'll need to call in regular police to make an arrest. That tells you he's a PCS 0, not a full constable, and they usually can't arrest without specific permission. In other words, these threats are pure hot air.
Can I just say you're talking nonsense? You
not.
really are talking
I'm
nonsense. When the actual police officer gets here,
Yeah.
if I bother waiting for him, I might just get the footage now and drive off on my bike.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might just do that, but we'll see anyway. I'll tell you what, we'll wait for the officer to come and he will tell you you're talking absolute nonsense. You'll just walk off like and that'll be it. Get in the car and go. Are you going to go now so I can finish my drone footage?
No, I'm not.
You're not going to go?
No, I'm not. No. You seem to be enjoying filming me, so.
This is crazy. So, are you going to waste police time just by standing here?
Yeah. Yeah, because you're intent on doing that, so.
I'm not intent on wasting police time. I'd like you to go so I can finish my drone footage.
Well, I've asked you to delete the footage, I've asked you to show me the footage, you refused both.
When the auditor calmly asks if he'll be moving on, the officer digs in his heels instead, openly admitting he's hanging around just to waste police time. He even insists he won't leave until the footage is deleted, despite having zero legal power to make that demand. At this point, it's clear he's not enforcing the law, but asserting control. Rather than resolving things professionally, he's chosen to escalate a non-issue into a needless standoff.
Because I don't really want to.
Right? And you've not even explained yourself as to why you don't want to.
I just don't feel like it.
Don't feel like it.
Yeah. Like, what did you have for breakfast this morning? Why did you have it? You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. And as I say, you know, you don't feel like it. You're being completely obstructive. You know, I've been completely reasonable with you. I've spoken to you politely.
Can I just explain to you the situation, right, from a high level point of view, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So go on then.
I'm stood in a public place.
Yep.
This is a public place. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm filming from a public place. I'm flying my drone from a public place. I'm abiding by all the drone laws.
Right.
I'm abiding by all the filming laws.
Right.
You guys have come here telling me I'm committing an offence.
Yep.
And now you stood there and you won't leave.
Right.
And you've admitted that you're going to stand here wasting police time.
Right. Okay.
Crazy. We're in a really crazy situation here.
Okay. I've asked to see the footage. Why aren't you going to show me the footage?
I don't have to and I don't want to.
Right.
I've got more footage to get yet. You know what I mean? I've literally got, I'm running out of time to get all this droned over. I've got some other places I need to get to.
If you film somebody and somebody asks you to then delete it, you have to be willing to at least show them with it and explain why you're not going to delete it, and explain to someone in authority.
Under what law? That ends the conversation, doesn't it, really? Under what law? If you explain to me the laws that require me to do something, if you explain to me the law that requires me to do something.
Forget everything you've heard. There's no UK statute forcing a private citizen to hand over or explain their footage to anyone, let alone delete it on demand. Yet here we see an officer inventing rules out of thin air, leaning on his badge rather than any real legal authority. He insists on compliance through intimidation, exposing how misinformation can create a slippery slope of unlawful demands down the line. This moment lays bare a bigger problem. When law enforcement improvises rules, it undermines public trust and misuses valuable police resources. Just as tensions peak, a fully empowered police constable finally arrives, called in by the PCS officer who, moments earlier, had already made a spectacle of himself with his shaky grasp of the law.
Have you flown over the factory?
I'd rather not say, but I plan to.
You plan to?
Yeah.
Right. Do you have permission to fly over there with it being private property?
What permission? This is what I've just been through with these guys. What permission do I need?
It's classed as private property there, so it's classed as trespass.
It's not classed as trespass. If it is classed as a trespass, if I were flying low causing a nuisance, that'd be a civil trespass.
It is a civil matter, you're right.
That would be a civil trespass. So I don't know why you guys would be getting involved. But if I fly it high, it's not classed as a trespass. You don't, if an helicopter flies over, you don't class it as a trespass, do you?
I don't think there's any sort of minimum horizontal distance anywhere with drones anymore. I think it's changed.
Exactly.
You probably know more than I do, to be honest.
Yeah, I reckon I probably do. So yeah.
Forget everything you've heard. There's no UK statute forcing a private citizen to hand over or explain their footage to anyone, let alone delete it on demand. Yet here we see an officer inventing rules out of thin air, leaning on his badge rather than any real legal authority. He insists on compliance through intimidation, exposing how misinformation can create a slippery slope of unlawful demands down the line. This moment lays bare a bigger problem. When law enforcement improvises rules, it undermines public trust and misuses valuable police resources. Just as tensions peak, a fully empowered police constable finally arrives, called in by the PCS officer who, moments earlier, had already made a spectacle of himself with a shaky grasp of the law.
That's why I'm still here, because let me just tell you this, right? I'm not stupid, right? If I were committing a crime, yeah, I would have been on my toes now on that little bike and nobody would have caught me, but I'm not committing a crime, that's why I'm still standing here. I just want to prove to everybody that I'm,
I don't think you have committed a crime.
Excellent.
You should be in handcuffs.
Exactly.
However, I've got to try and work with you.
Yeah, you can
so
try and
in terms of, when you're flying a drone in public, like you're doing now, you can film anywhere. Nobody can stop you. You're entitled to film what you want, which isn't an issue. However, once you cross over the border into sort of where factories are, it's private property, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's no...
how would you feel if somebody encroached into your private home and started filming you?
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's residential. So if
Well, it is, but it's still private.
If you fly over somebody's residential house and you're like looking in the windows or something, that's covered under...
In the UK, the Civil Aviation Authority is the only body with power over airspace rules. They set where drones can't fly, near airports, over sensitive government buildings, or in other specially restricted zones. Outside those no-fly areas, Anyone piloting a drone must simply keep it within sight and steer clear of flying too low over people. In this clip, the officer assumes the company somehow controls that stretch of sky, when in fact it has no jurisdiction at all. Rather than checking the official regulations, he leaps to a false conclusion and tries to wield non-existent authority. This mix-up highlights a bigger problem. Too often, officers enforce rules they haven't even bothered to verify.
Flying over like a business or something like that, just getting some aerial footage and whatnot. There's no.
You're supposed to seek authority from them first, really, to stay private property.
But that's an opinion. That's not a fact.
It's
you know.
not.
Yeah,
It's a fact. It's private property.
No, because I tell you what. Then
it is a civil matter and it is trespass.
yeah, I'll tell you what. As soon as you've been so nice to me when you come over, you kept your distance or whatever, I'll let you know, because I know a bit more about you than the drone laws. Yeah. Basically, I can fly over there with this sub 250 drone. I can fly over the private property, and that's because they do not control the airspace or own the airspace. The Civil Aviation Authority controls and owns the airspace, and there are no. I checked before I launched. There are no controls in place over this airspace here.
The auditor hits the nail on the head. If officers want to cut down on pointless callouts, they should calmly clarify that public filming and drone flights aren't a police issue. Instead, too many get drawn into endless debates, unintentionally backing up the business's incorrect fears. By skipping a quick lesson in the rules, they set themselves up for repeat deployments over perfectly lawful activities. A brief explanation would clear the air and let police focus on genuine crimes.
So, for instance, prisons and airports, there's controls in place.
You're right.
Yeah. So you can't fly over them because the Civil Aviation Authority says you can't, and it's actually a crime to do that. Whereas the airspace over this facility here is not owned by this facility. They can't tell me whether or not I can fly something over or not. It's literally owned and controlled by the Civil Aviation Authority, and there's no controls in place.
Have you finished for today?
Nearly. I have got a little bit more. When these two arrived, I had to stop filming because I just wanted to have a quick chat with them just to make sure they weren't going to jump me out.
I don't really know that.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I just thought I'd just.
Well, we're not those type of people.
Yeah, good. That's really good.
You've got a job to do. If somebody raises concerns, we've got to come and speak to and get to.
Absolutely, yeah. What you'd be best off doing, just nipping in and just telling them what he's doing is completely legal. That would be your job today. You'd literally just go in and just say, look, I know you might not like it, but what he's doing is completely legal. We haven't got any jurisdiction. The guy's not committed a crime, so we don't have any power over him.
That wraps up another case of police getting it spectacularly wrong. From the moment security dialed 999, this whole episode was driven by myths, not misconduct, and it ate up valuable officer time. The PCSO on scene repeatedly cited phantom laws, from data protection demands to bogus arrest powers, even though he had zero legal ground. Rather than clarify the rules, he fanned the flames. A quick fact check with the business would have ended this instantly. Thanks for watching Rate the Audit. If you found this useful, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. It really helps keep these independent reports coming. And don't miss Northern Audits. Links in the description. See you next time.